Barcelona traveled to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea in the first leg of the last 16. Before we get into this, I would like to thank every one of you who supported me in the last video. The support was absolutely insane. If I'm being honest, it's your support that motivates me to keep doing this, especially with the whole demonetization thing going on. So I appreciate every single one of you. Conte already knew that his team will have to suffer. Those are his words. This is what he said.
They like to dominate the game, and for this reason we must be prepared to suffer without the ball, to be compact, don't lose our head.
So Conte had a plan to stop Barcelona. That will be a difficult feat to achieve, since Barcelona haven't lost a competitive game since September 2016. They did lose against Real Madrid, but it was in the Supercopa de España. So it was interesting to see how Conte managed to tactically overcome Valverde. Even though the game ended in a draw, Chelsea probably would have won if it wasn't for that one mistake later in the second half. We will get into why Valverde's Barcelona were having a difficult time breaking down Conte's Chelsea later in this video. First, let's take a look at how the home team lined up. The first thing that most people noticed was that Giroud and Morata both were on the bench. Conte decided to go with Hazard as his false number 9. It makes sense why people were surprised though, because Chelsea did not have a target man. So every time Chelsea had to cross, notice how only Pedro is in the box, with Piqué and Umtiti marking him. They had no one to target, even from goal kicks, and while clearing the ball. Let's say Giroud started. He would allow Chelsea to have a target man in the middle, but Giroud cannot do what Hazard can do. We will get into Hazard's role a bit more after the formations. This is how Barcelona lined up on paper, but in actuality, the formation was a bit different. Messi was allowed to roam freely and find spaces wherever he wanted to, like always. Valverde wanted his midfield to be a bit more defensive than usual, to defend against Chelsea's counterattacks. For this purpose, he played Rakitic as a defensive mid along with Busquets, while Paulinho was on the right and Iniesta on the left of Messi. Now, let's take a look at Hazard's role. Hazard is a great player who can get away from his markers in the blink of an eye. So Conte clearly wanted to hit Barcelona on the counter. That is why he went with Hazard. Hazard was a big help in defense as well. Hazard made sure to take out Busquets out of the game whenever Barcelona got close to Chelsea's box. Barcelona like to set up in a way that allows easy ball rotation. This is important because they like to keep the opponents moving, which creates spaces to exploit most of the time. But Chelsea were able to make Barcelona's tactics ineffective for the most part. So what exactly did Chelsea do? Let's find out. Conte man-marked Messi whenever possible and did a very decent job. Chelsea held their shape impressively well. They were also defending quite deep. This is why. The wingers were tracking back all the way. This was important, as Chelsea needed all of their outfield players to make sure that Barcelona did not break their shape. Also, notice how narrow the players on the opposite side are. This basically gave Barcelona an incentive to go wide since Chelsea were leaving huge spaces over there. Chelsea were able to create this shape that made it extremely difficult for the Barcelona forwards to find any spaces near the box. Fabregas was in the middle of a diamond. This is the area in which Iniesta and Messi usually find little pockets of space, which they use to get in behind the defense. This kept Barcelona away from Chelsea's box, as they kept on passing it from one flank to the other, hoping to find any opening. Also, notice how after going on the flank, Barcelona don't have many options to choose from in the box, while Chelsea does a great job at marking everyone. This meant that Messi had to come even deeper than usual to get involved in the play. This kept him away from Chelsea's box, which is exactly what Chelsea wanted. Whenever Messi came deep, Paulinho would go upfield, just like I explained in my previous video that you can check out by clicking the card on the top right. Barcelona were in control of majority of the possession as expected. They were able to do this by using high pressure all over the field. And the defensive midfielders helped a lot as well. Notice how Rakitic drags away Hazard to allow Roberto to pass it back. Chelsea also pressed with high pressure. But they made sure not to press the goalkeeper. This made it difficult for Barcelona to play from the back. Chelsea were mainly relying on counterattacks to get them closer to Barcelona's goal. They would often switch the play to get upfield as well. Barcelona's fullbacks can't mark two players at the same time, and since Barcelona's midfielders were not tracking back like Chelsea was, the wingbacks often found themselves in space. Chelsea were definitely getting the better chances their way. With Hazard causing Barcelona trouble time after time. Notice how Alonso is inside to drag away Roberto. Messi kept trying to create something. But Chelsea defended well. Even Suarez started to drift wide to try to make something happen. Later in the first half, Chelsea were getting close to scoring the first goal of the game, as they kept on threatening Barcelona's goal. After hitting the post, it seemed like Chelsea kicked into the next gear, as their high pressure made it difficult for Barcelona to hold on to the possession of the ball. Barcelona did have a half chance here and there. Messi got caught off guard. But it was Chelsea who seemed like the first team to take the lead. Messi was still trying to make something happen late in the first half. The first half ended goalless, but Chelsea looked far more threatening in front of the goal. Both teams stuck with their tactics during the start of the second half. Hazard was still trying to help in attack however he could. Notice how Moses fills in for Hazard, while Messi was still coming deep and getting double teamed in the middle. Conte was still doing a great job against Messi. Chelsea were still comfortable with Barcelona having the ball. Just like in the first half, they were more focused on keeping their shape and limiting spaces for Barcelona. No wonder this happened in the 61st minute. This is probably what Willian heard as soon as he got the ball, because this time he went for placement over power. I don't know why Barcelona didn't mark the player who hit the post twice in the first half. Chelsea now had a well-deserved lead, but the goal meant that Barcelona were going to try even harder. While Chelsea focused on counterattacks to get them a field. In the 64th minute, Vidal replaced Paulinho. It was a like-for-like switch. Barcelona kept on attacking. Every Chelsea player was keeping a close eye on Messi. They wanted to make sure that Messi was not involved in Barcelona's attacks. Iniesta started to drop deep to help in the build-up play. That kept dragging away a Chelsea defender. Barcelona were now in control, but Messi was still seen deep. Christensen had a couple of shaky moments in the first half. Well, this is what happened in the 75th minute. Another mistake by Christensen. That was extremely poor by Christensen, as he basically gifted Barcelona an important away goal. Chelsea had much better possession stats in the second half. Conte brought on Morata and Drinkwater for Fabregas and Pedro in the 84th minute. This meant that Hazard slotted on the left, while Morata became the centre forward. As soon as Morata came on, Azpilicueta started to look for him with Conte's signature pass this season. Introduction of Morata meant that Hazard could now take more time on the ball and come deeper than usual. Chelsea kept trying to make something happen through Hazard. Barcelona were also attacking right until the final whistle. How can I leave this out? It was a great game of football between both sides. Chelsea definitely should be feeling hard done by as they gifted an away goal to Barcelona. Conte's Chelsea seemed to have the upper hand tactically in this match. We'll have to wait and see how Valverde will respond to Conte's tactics in the second leg, because Conte is probably going to stick with the same tactics. Do you guys think 1-1 was a fair scoreline for this game? Or do you guys think that Chelsea were the better team? I would love to hear what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments below. If you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already.